Hello everyone, and look at my webcam that isn't plugged in or turned on. So that's super fun. Oh, there we go. Oh, you can you can hear Penny. Great. All right. Cool. The stream is already better than last time, so that's good. What I wanted to do let's fix a couple things. Because I'm hearing double my music right now. I don't know why. Twitter. It's because of Twitter. Okay, cool. Hello everybody. Nightbot seems to be working. Garrett, it's just what Nightbot does. I wanted to start the stream off a little different. I just got this new area set up and people were asking about it, so we're gonna do a quick little tour of my workspace. So bear with me. This is what we got going on. We got. Oh, hold on. Let's do this. There we go. Here's the setup. Got a couple monitors. Got one in the middle with all you guys doing stuff. Got a nice Devin Hester signed jersey here. I got a Charles Tillman signed design I made. It's a Bradley Jack design 1 of 1. Got a nice Brian Urlacher signed bear hug. Got a Devin Hester print I made. This was supposed to be signed, but it arrived a day after the signing. And I got some cool stuff up here. Devin Hester mini helmet, Devin Hester helmet. I got a Brian Urlacher signed helmet. Mickey Mantle baseball, a Charles Tillman signed helmet. I got all sorts of cards. Got a bunch of Devin Hester cards here. Got a bunch of Obi Toppin cards here. And then just some card supplies down there. I got some posters of my favorite artist, Roy Lichtenstein. So that is the office set up, how it is. So let's see if we can throw this back to a normal spot. Get rid of one of these cables. And we'll swing back to you guys. And then one last thing we need to do. Let's turn these lights on. All right. Let's change things up today. All right, let's do red because we're doing Bradley Beal. All right. Let's just fix that. Cool. All right. We are ready to rock. Yes, Meet Brad and Cables is very good. Okay, let's hop back here. Whoops. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. What's in the box? The boxes have just base cards in it and like card supplies, so nothing fun. Those are my cards. So what we're going to talk about today is I'm going to do some Cinema 4D work, and we're going to use that as a background for this Bradley Beal graphic we're going to make. So I don't really have any photos that I like of Bradley. I've got some downloaded. I didn't do anything to them, so you're going to see me edit those as well. Javon Wims is awesome because he hates the Saints. So we're going to go and hop right in. So I have a Cinema 4D area set up already. You can't see this, but I've got some textures down here. You don't really need to worry about where those go. Let me fix this again. Everything will show up down here in the bottom right. So I did a bunch of experimenting this week on and in Cinema 4D. to figure out what I wanted to do for this. So I've got a good idea of what I want. So a fun fact about Cinema 4D is you can do stuff to logos. I promise what was in the box. Here's a different box. This box is better. This is a case. It's like Deal or No Deal. So this box has a bunch of this has my graded cards in it. So like Devin Hester rookie card, Devin Hester rookie card, Devin Hester rookie card. I got a nice Obi Toppin card here. So these are where my cards are that I got from my brother, who was saying so in chat. I also have some other cool stuff in here. Let me show one of these. I have this nice Tyson Beck card. So I've got just cards that are either graded or different I've gotten here that aren't specifically Devin Hester or Obi Toppin. Now most of these are Devin Hester and or Obi Toppin. All right, back to you guys. So this is Cinema 4D. Now, if you're not used to Cinema 4D, go look up a bunch of videos on YouTube. Grayscale Gorilla has a bunch of good ones. And if you just Google stuff that you want to know how to do. So I looked up some stuff on YouTube on how to do stuff in here that I'm going to show you. So one thing I wanted to do is I wanted to try and do something with glass morphism. So I was like working around in Photoshop and I made a file that I was going to use. So like stuff like this. So like, you know, this is cool. It's like a piece of glass that's frosted. So I set up a file in Photoshop. Let me see if I have it in here. Glass test. Here we go. I updated Photoshop today, so we'll count how many times that breaks today. Wow! Hopefully not a lot. So once we get this up, okay, so this is here you go. Buccaneers graphic I made for the Super Bowl. So I made this file and was like, okay, I can play around with this, and then I can just move things around as I wish, like this or something like that, and then we can do it that way. But then I was like, well, that's dumb, because I can just do it in Cinema 4D. So I'm going to do it more realistically in Cinema 4D. Yeah, I'm going to not hit that collab button yet. Okay, so what I'm going to do in Cinema 4D, what I do all the time is I set up a camera and I set the coordinates down to 0. And this is going to be what we're going to use as a camera. So I'm going to do negative 350 inches or so. If you hit this button, it locks it into place. And then I can click on this button to see what I'm looking at. So this button there. So I'm going to start off with some text. Actually, no, I'm going to start off with a plane. And I can click on and off anytime to see what I'm doing. Actually, let's make a sky. So I already have a sky material on here. So we have a sky set up. And this is using an HDRI, which is a type of image that's like really weird looking, but it like makes a globe very easily. So I've got a sky set up. And then I want to make let's make some text. So I'm going to go to MoGraph. I'm just going to do MoText. So we've got text here, and if I go to object of text, I can change what it is. So I'm going to say it's B, and then I can choose whatever font I want. So I'm just going to choose something simple. I'm going to hit the old Gotham Lobster, and we're going to use Gotham. I'm going to use Gotham Black. So I just have this B sort of floating in the air. I'm going to make it like, I don't know, 10 inches deep. Coordinates, I'm going to move it towards the camera 7 inches. So I'm going to copy and paste that because I want these letters to be sort of mixed up. Short question, Dimension isn't faster than Cinema 4D for simple effects. Is it? I don't even know what you're talking about, to be honest. Adobe Dimension? I have no idea. I've never used it before. There's a lot of people ask me questions a lot on like Instagram of like what app is best to use on their phones, and I'm like, I have no idea. I don't use apps. I use Adobe Photoshop. So now if we go to our camera, we can see that all of our text is here. I'm going to change it to middle, so it's all in the middle. But one thing I need to do is I need to change our render settings. So I'm going to do 2000 by 2500 at 300, and that is what that's what I use for Photoshop. So that's what I'm going to use here. And then I would typically do physical, effect, ambient occlusion, effect, global illumination. Now this is what we're looking at. This is what the camera is looking at too. So we go to coordinates, everything's good here. Okay. So now what we're going to do, hey Jordan, is I'm going to blow this text up to something like that. Drop it down here. And then you can select these individually, and these three things up here allow you to change the size, location, and rotation. So I'm just going to rotate the B. I'll rotate the E a little bit. I'll select the A, rotate it just slightly, select the L. Oops, rotate it like that. How's it going, everybody? Let me look at something over here. Okay, so we're going to take this. So what I'm trying to do is just sort of come up with a little bit of a composition for our letters. So we've got the A, let's tuck it in there a little bit, and let's take this L and actually let's rotate it this way. So now we've got everything all grouped together nicely like this. We're going to make this a little bit bigger. Drag it down, drag it here. You can see where everything is still on the axis I like. So there we go. So now what I want to do is I want to create that glass morphism. So what I'm going to do is I actually have a file sort of set up already. So you can import Illustrator files. So I've got a slightly modified Wizards logo. So if I go to File, Merge Object, I can go to this, which only has one thing in it, Wizards logo. I'm just going to hit OK. And now I have a Wizards logo in here. So this is the white part of the Wizards logo. So I'm going to blow that up to be huge. I'm going to move it over here. Make it bigger. So you can see it's sort of part of the Wizards logo. So what I want to do is I want to make this 3D. So if I go to this and hit extrude, I can drag and put the item inside extrude, and now you can see it's three-dimensional. It has some depth to it. So I'm going to take this object and I'm just going to hit down on it. And so I'm going to take the logo. I'm going to make the logo a lot bigger. I'm going to drag down to be something sort of like that. That looks good. Let me go back here. And again, I'm putting it here because I want to see through it, but right now I can't because it's not transparent. So I'm going to change the extrude. I'm going to change the object. The movement on the Z-axis, I'm going to change it to like, I don't know, 1. And then caps is the front, and I can give it a bevel on the edge, so I can do like 0.5. And now it has a slight bevel to it. So if I zoom in here, you can see it's got a slight bevel to the edge. It's beveled. So hop back here. Here's our objects. Now we have to make it 3D dimensional. So how are we going to do that? So what we can do is we can make a material. So to make a material, you just double click down here and it pulls up a menu, which is hidden, not hidden. Let's try this again. Oh, it makes one, but then you double click it and you can get this material editor. Now I have a material pre-made already. How's it going, Dean? So I'm going to show you how you can do this. A little bit different though. So I'm going to add transparency. First, yeah, so what we need to do is we need to add transparency. So if I click that, you can see this turned into glass. And we want to make it blurry, so I'm going to make this like 20%. Because in the glass morphism, what you have is you have blurry glass that you're trying to look through, like at a doctor's office or something. So all I have to do is then drag that material onto here. And then if I hit this render button, it will render it. And you can see what we have. So we've got this cool glass that you can't see through because it's blurry. That's what we wanted. So this is what we wanted. So that's good. We can also go a little bit further and add a bump to it. And a bump is going to give it some texture. So I have a texture hopefully loaded already. Nope. So I'm going to go to my assets. I'm going to go to my stock images and go to my grain and dust. And I'm going to see what I have in here. So I can just use any of these as a texture. So this is going to be essentially like stamped into the glass. So I want something that's going to show up, that's not too complicated, but something that you would see realistically on glass. Like this dust scratch. So I'm going to hit OK, hit yes. Hey Lucas, glad to see you coming in from Brazil. So now if I hit that, you can see in certain areas, it's got texture to it now. So you can see here in the bottom, and in areas it has texture to it. So it just adds a little bit more realism to what you're making. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to throw the material I already had made on that instead, which is pretty much the same thing. But took me a lot longer to figure out. So now that we have that, that's good. One thing we need to set up though is we need to set up some lights. So like, it looks good now, but we need some realistic lighting. So what I'm going to do, Command Z, I'm going to add an area light. And you can see it's already changing stuff. So I'm going to make the coordinates, I'm going to bump it backwards, and I'm going to just click and make it a little bit bigger. Let's just make it real big. I'm going to move it over to the side, and I'm actually going to create something else. Where are you? And I'm going to let you know, I'm not like insanely knowledgeable in Cinema 4D, as you can see. I'm clicking around looking for file, edit. Whoops. It's not terribly important what I'm looking for. It'll just make things easier. Holler at me when you see it. Just kidding, you guys have no idea what I'm looking for. Greetings from Kosovo. Awesome. I love seeing things. I'm going to create a null. There it is. Jeez, that took forever. All right. So we have this null. Hey Sam Designs. So what I'm going to do with this light is I'm going to copy it and paste it, and let's make this exact. So 200 inches over, we're going to make the other one at negative 200. So we have one on the left and we have one on the right. We're setting up some lights. Let's move them both up like 80 inches just for fun. And I'm going to lock these in. So now what I can do is I made this null object because I can take these lights and I can add a camera tag, or no, an animation tag on target. And I can basically select this null and it's going to select that object. So if I move around, you see it's selecting this null object. Now I want this null object to actually be at 0, 0, which you can see it says it is, but it's not. Oh, there it goes. Now it's at 0, 0. So you can see the lights, wherever this goes, they're facing the null object. So I want it at 0, 0 to shine on the words here. So we go back to our normal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these lights, and I'm going to change them a little bit. I'm going to give one light a tiny bit of a blue hint, or a tiny hint of blue, and I'm going to give the other one a tiny hint of yellow, because lights aren't pure white. They usually have a little bit of a hue to them. And if you mix yellow and or orange and blue, it evens out and turns into essentially, what does that turn into? White. All right, so let me pop this out. Okay, they're in front of that. Let's see what this looks like now. This might take a little bit more time to render because we actually have lighting. But you can see it does look better because we have realistic lighting. So that looks pretty good. Just want to see what it looks like there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something funky. Hey Blake, how's it going? So I'm going to make it seem like this Beal is stretching through fabric or rubber. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a plane. I'm going to rotate that plane 90 degrees. How many horsepowers you got on that there, computer? I have at least one. Okay, so I'm going to move this 0. I just want to make sure my camera. So here's where the plane is now. Let me make this big. 400 by 400. Can we see it on the camera? Now we need to make it bigger. 800 by 800. There, it's huge. Okay, so on the camera, I want to move this back so a good amount is poking through here. And that's going to make it so it seems like it's breaking through. Hey Blake, freelance is going pretty well. I had a pretty busy day today, up until pretty much the stream, so it's always a good thing. Okay, so I learned how to do this just from a YouTube video. That was pretty good. You can look it up too, or you can watch me make this. So I have my plane and I have my text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a collision with this plane. So I'm saying I want these to collide with this plane. But I need to indicate what is colliding. So under this deformer, it says colliders. So I can click on this button and click on all of these guys. So now these are all colliding with this plane. Now I'm going to give this plane just a quick material. And I'm going to give it a material of, I don't know, 227 by 24 by 55. Also known as the Wizard's colors. So I'm going to apply that to the plane. So now we have some color on that. I'm going to tweak it a little bit though. I'm going to remove the specular. I'm going to make my own using a Beckman specular. I'm going to make it like 5%. And I'm going to get rid of the roughness. And then I'm going to add a bump like we did before. I'm going to load a texture. Let's load the same one. Now let's load this. Well, yeah, let's load the same one. So now this should have a texture to it. But it's going to bump outwards. But I don't want it to bump outwards. I want to make it look like they're indents. So I'm going to change this strength to like, I don't know, negative 40. Now it's going inward instead of outward. So now if we go to the camera and we render, we'll see what this looks like. The thing with Cinema 4D is a lot of the time you're waiting on stuff to render. So like my intro that you saw took a long time to render. So you can see we've got stuff going on in the back. But we got to do some more stuff so we can make this look good. So you can see I set the application here on collision to collide, but I need to change intersect to inside stretch. So now it should be stretching all of these items. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide these so we can see what it's doing. So it says it's stretching, but you and I can't see anything. So like that's weird. So you can see it's kind of doing something. Hey Brendan, I'm using just a MacBook Pro. Yes, Garrett. Wow. Oh, yeah.
Wow!
Look how cool that is. Hey, Matt, how's it going? Thanks for joining. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change these width segments to like 800 and 800. And that, now we can see it says Beal. So that looks cool. So it's like coming out, but it's a little jagged. So we need to fix that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a subdivision surface. I'm going to put that all in a subdivision surface, which is just going to add subdivisions to the whole surface, smooth things out a little bit. And then I'm going to add this thing called smoothing. And if we sit and wait, if I add this smoothing, hey Matt, another Matt, thank you for tuning in. We have that smoothing, and if we're patient enough, we can toss it in here underneath the collision. And this is where my computer starts to hate me, because this program can take up a lot of your a lot of the power on your computer. All right, there we go. Collision above smoothing. There. I think it worked. Hey Tim, thanks for joining in. So I'm going to tweak some of these settings. Let me go back to the collider. Object, fall off. I'm going to select collider. There we go. Look at that. See how smooth that is? That looks good. Dean, I've only been using Cinemate 4D off and on. I don't know. I've been using it off and on for a couple, I don't know, a year or so. Not like too intently. Learning basically from YouTube. And once you get the hang of some things and learning how to use the app and navigate it, it becomes a lot easier, just like anything else. Let's change the size to like 2. Stretch to 0. Relax to 8. So that looks cool. So now let's go back to the camera and let's see what this looks like. Let's sit back, relax. There we go. All right. So now if we render this, we'll see what it looks like.
Wow!
Super cool. Yeah, navigating the programs in general is the hard part, and then figuring out lighting is hard too. Like I should probably actually add another light to this. I almost made a Jeopardy theme button. So you can see this rendering. I actually would probably add a front light too that will reflect off of this. But you can see what we're working with here. Now we'll just wait. While we wait for a sec, do you guys have any questions? We're going to hop into Photoshop in a second to actually start this design. So what I showed you was actually very simple, but it took forever to figure out. And it takes forever to render as well, which is also another issue. Okay, so it's similar to Maya. I know After Effects is way different, which I know people use. I think that's what Design with Dan uses. I think that's what Ethan J Design uses as well. But you can see this is what we have rendering. Now, I'm impatient, so I'm going to save and quit. And I'm going to open up Photoshop. And we're going to open up one that was already rendered out because it took like, I don't know, took a while to render. So this is what we ended up with. So we have our extruded text. We have our glossy glass in the front with highlights on it. we've got this like weird, it almost looks like putty or something that it's coming through. And I already threw a selective color layer on top of this just for fun. So now we can get into the nitty gritty of what we want to use. I wanted to use this as a simple, cool background using sort of glass morphism. So that's where we ended up. So actually what I'm going to do, actually let me look and see. It looks different depending on what monitor I have it on, so that's fun. Okay, so now that we have this, we need to come up with what we want our actual composition to be. So I have some photos downloaded. So for me, with this type of background, what would bode well would be a photo of him in the air doing something. There's no floor to the scene, so I'm gonna make everything in the air. So I downloaded some photos of him doing stuff. Brandon, you can get something called a spider, and you can put it on and it will figure out your monitors for you. They're just expensive. So all of your monitors will be in sync to the same lighting and they'll all look the same. Okay. So I just had an idea of what I might want to do. So here are the images I have. So we got him dunking. We've got him dunking here, but he kind of isn't doing anything with his face. And we've got this shot here of him going in for a layup. So which one of these photos do you guys like best? We got layup one, dunk, going to the dunk, and then shooting. I've got an idea for what we could do with this shooting one. But I want your guys' input. 1 and 4. Yeah, I like the shooting one because it's crisp. Let me look up something. I've got an idea for something I want to do. So I want to see if I can get the asset that I would use for that. Let me turn on this, and you guys can see what keys I use. Where are you at? Oh well. Bear with me. So what I'm doing right now is I'm looking on Envato.com, which I have a subscription to see if what I want is on here. Because I got a kind of cool idea maybe. I think we're going to go with that shooting one. See, and what we can do is we can take this back in after we do it and make it so he's behind it as well. All right, I might have found something that I want to use. Official sponsor, that's right. So Envato's cool because they have 3D elements you can like use that are on there, but I'm trying to find it at a specific angle, which they don't have. So let's go with this one. So we're going to go in here, we're going to edit this one. So I'm just going to do my BJD2, which I've tweaked slightly a little bit. That looks good there. Then we're going to go to my blue fix because I break all the blues, and we're going to add the blues back in. That looks pretty good. Let's do a selective color. Make a real deep orange. We're going to invert everything and we're going to paint this. The opacity on my brush is set to 10%. I might end up putting more in here. I just kind of have an idea of what I want to do now. Main idea was do something with glass morphism in it. Second idea was do that sort of wax looking stuff. wax looking photos. All right, skin's a little bit too red, so I'm gonna add another layer, add a little bit of cyan to that, invert that. I'm gonna paint his skin now. So what I'm thinking of doing is I'm looking for photos of like an industrial vat or like industrial piping to make it seem like we're manufacturing a bunch of Bradley Beals. But there's only one Bradley Beal. But really, you know, like a Willy Wonka chocolate factory sort of deal. Like we're making him. But I'm having, oh, there it is. Come here, you little guy. Let's put you right here. There. Now you can see what I'm typing. So again, what I'm doing right now is I used a selective color layer and boosted the cyan, which is going to mute red. And you can see that his skin was super red. So now it's less red. So this is before, after, before, after. Subtle change that I think makes a big difference. So this looks pretty good. So now, of course, we're going to cut him out using what? Using what? Oh, I'm so disappointed. Where is this at? I'm very disappointed. Hold on. I moved something. I moved something, so it's mad. I'm so disappointed. It was set up so well. You know when you set yourself up for a joke?
Quick select.
There it is. Man, that took forever. All right. So we're going to use quick select. I'm just going to hit select subject because this is a nice image. I can boost up the brush, hold down the option key. And then I'll go just take a quick look around, fix some of his pants there, get rid of this, add this back in, add this, add some of this back in right here. One thing they just added, which I'm going to use and I'll show you because it doesn't work, is there's like this new refine hair button. Get rid of that. All right, that's good enough. So let's go to select and mask. So they have this refine hair button, which is like kind of new, but it sucks because if I hit refine hair, it's just going to get rid of half his hair. So let me get rid of that. Okay, so now we can go around here and we can use the refine edge tool on his hair. What's going on? We got our settings at. Let's do 1, smart radius, 3, 25, -3. You know what, I'm gonna get rid of this feather for Garrett because I don't want to use it this time. Okay, now I'm gonna put it back. All right, is this all? Hold on. What just happened? Oh, I know what happened. I hit Command A. So I selected everything, which we don't want to do. Okay, so let's go here. I'm going to use the brush and just go in here and finesse all these edges. And again, this is probably what you would do with the pen tool the first time around, but we don't like to use the pen tool around here. Mainly because the brush is easier to use. It's just easy to go in here and paint instead of using the pen tool can be a little bit wonky sometimes. That's why we don't use it. I will use it every once in a while. Like if I'm cutting out a trophy and it's like silver and quick select's never going to select it, that's when I'll use it. Or if something's real bright and I'm like, okay, there's a curve there, but I can't see the curve, I'm just gonna use the pen tool then. I know how to use the pen tool. I just choose to ignore it. Garrett, what do you mean you started with the pen tool? No, I didn't. Are you saying I started my knowledge with the pen tool? That might have been what you meant. Let's fix his belt here. Super cool. Sure, pants. Take away. Yeah, so I know how to use the pen tool. I had an internship at Huffy Bikes. They make bikes there. And when I was an intern, pretty much all I did was cut bikes out of white backgrounds. So spokes on bikes are real fun to cut out. That's where the pen tool comes in real handy. Cutting out, what are they? Little ribbons on the ends of girls' bikes are super fun to cut out. But you learn a lot and you get really good at cutting things out when you cut out bikes. Now I could pull a Tony and not cut these out. But I'm going to cut these out. What is this? I hope you guys can hear Penny barking upstairs. She's just super excited about the stream. If I can hear her in my headphones, that's definitely an issue. All right. Pretty good. Let's go in here and fix some stuff with that. Let's hit this with the refine edge brush. Click, click, click. Got some nice calf action going on. Nope, don't want to hit that. The reason I like to use this over the pen tool too is because you can fix mistakes a lot easier. I hope you guys get the reference of me saying pull a Tony. If you do, props to you. We like to have fun around here, little inside jokes. Tony works for the Magic and he posted something about like, you're never gonna know. And everyone's like, yeah, shoelaces suck. Nobody cuts shoelaces out and leaves them in the image. But yeah, with this over the pen tool, it's a lot less forgiving, a lot more forgiving. It is Tuesday, Henry. No, Tony's great. If you don't follow Tony, you should find him and follow him. I'm not going to butcher his last name, so just Google the Orlando Magic staff directory and look up design and look for Tony. And you will find Tony. All right. So I'm being like real picky with this. Here, I'll cut this out. There. I won't include that part of his shoe because I don't care about it. That part of my shoe said bad things about quick select. For when every time I cut out the laces for Tony. That's right. Oh, that's funny. I don't have a laugh on here. That's bad. I need a laugh on here. Okay. So we're almost done. This is pretty good. Oh, we have his hair. I love how this just shows all the times I'm holding down the space bar. And it just spams it. Let's use the refine edge brush up here. That should be fine. Now I have it set automatically to output it as a layer mask, so I can just hit enter and we have a layer mask already. I'm then actually going to select that, modify, contract that 1 inch. So you can see here, contract 1 inch. Delete layer mask and then layer mask that again. So now we just cut in essentially all of the fringe. And then I can go in here and fix some areas. So I want this to be a little bit sharper. It's nice and sharp. This is a little wonky. Let's fix that. His hair looks a little funky. Let's clip all of these. Let's make a new layer. Let's use our stamp tool. Hold down the option key and paint in some of this hair to get rid of any sort of fringe border. Any sort of discoloration from the background essentially is what we're getting rid of. Oops, well, it's hair. Who's gonna know what it looks like? And then I like to use this like sand brush I have on here. It's very confused right now. There we go. Because this allows me to basically... This has a nice rough edge to it, and hair has a rough edge, not smooth, so I can just hit it a couple times and make him have some sandy hair. Steven, I did use it. We spent like the first 30 minutes sort of crafting a background that I had exported already. But I'll show you what we made because we're using it as a background. And we might go back into it. Once we're done with design. So, let me go in here. Things I look for is like, it looks like his arm looked a little funky here, so we're going to fix that. I'm hotkeying wrong. There we go. If you want to rotate the brush, you can just use the arrow keys. But if you hold down Shift, hold on. Hold on, I'm hitting the wrong button. Let's get a good example. So if you hit just the left and right arrow, but if you hold Shift, it shifts it in 15 degrees increments. Otherwise, you can do it in 1 degree increments, just left and right. Okay, everything looks good here, so I'm going to save this as Beal clipped .com .psd desktop. Okay, so I'm going to right click. I'm going to replace the contents just to make it a smart object. So now we have Beal clipped in here. That looks kind of cool. That looks good. I'm going to duplicate him. And I'm going to make it bigger like that, a little bit south. I'm going to add a color overlay of the background color I like to use, and I'm going to make that a group and multiply it and set it to 25 and break everything on accident. Let's do 50. Really, I just want to make a shadow. So we got a shadow here. I'm going to set it to normal at 100%. Normal at 100%. I'm going to turn this into a smart object actually. And then I don't need the group. So I have it set to multiply, but we want to blur it because it is it's a shadow. Shadows are blurry. So we'll go to Blur Gallery, Gaussian Fill, Gaussian Blur I mean. 35 seems fine. It's set to multiply. 35, 4, 40%, 50%. 50% looks good. I'm going to make 2 of these. I'll show you why. So we're going to use this one. I'm going to mask this one out, except for this front area, which I'm going to just roughly brush in. Wow. Is that really how much shadow's there? That's a ton. So I'm going to make 2 because these are in 2 different coordinates. I mean, this is where just using this polygon lasso tool would work. Just be like, bam, bam, bam. So since there's 2 different levels to this area, it's going to have 2 different shadows. Since we made this look so realistic, and you can see, and I'll zoom in a sec. A little bit more there. Let's just flatten this brush. It's gonna make this a lot easier. See, now I can rotate this nice little brush. Bam, bam, bam. Shift, rotate the other way. Bam, 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 bam. Okay. Well, you can. This is a good area. Look, this is what we rendered out. Like this looks sweet, right? Like it's got these holes and like this rubbery, shiny substance, and then this glass in the front. It's gonna look awesome. So I have that shadow, so that applies to him there, and then this other shadow is gonna be a little bit bigger, and we're gonna make it a little bit blurrier. And we're gonna select this, and then we're gonna invert that selection because we want to select around it. I really shouldn't have made them bigger. That doesn't make any sense. And we'll make this like 40. There. All right, so we're doing good so far. We should probably
Save as.
save. I like this mode. And let's do that. There we go. So this is what we're working with here. We just have him sort of floating in the air with this cool background behind him. We'll probably add a background in front of him again, but I want to do something cool. So what I'm looking at right now, I can show you. I'm on Envato. This is not sponsored. I use them for assets from time to time. So you can find 3D assets like this and then just download them at whatever angle you want. So I'm trying to find this angle. So I'm gonna download this angle. I don't need a license for it because we're just downloading it to use for this. And we'll see if we can get this to work how we want. So now I have this pipe, and I'm just gonna take this pipe and I'm just gonna lay it down here.
That's what she said.
So now we've got like this pipe that he's jumping out of, but then I want to duplicate that and flip one around up top. So I'm gonna take this pipe and I'm gonna lay it down up here.
That's what she said.
All right, I'm gonna make these equal-ish. And then I'm gonna make Bradley Beal a little bit smaller. So he's like coming through these pipes. That's fun. Right, Mario vibes. Definite Mario vibes with the tubes. Now the tubes are they're a little dark. So I'm just gonna duplicate the layer, multiply it, and then change around with the opacities. And I don't want them to be red because there's no contrast with that. Like, that's bad. Something went wrong. Reload the page. I was trying to find like one of these, but like look at all these pipes I can download. Like here's a pipe. I think this is the one I was trying to download actually because it's white and it would contrast well with the red. And then red, white, and blue, it all fits together. So I can drag and rotate it, but I can't rotate it how I want because it won't let me. So I can't use that one. So let's find a different one. I think I was trying to get this pipe actually. This would be a good pipe. Oh, that's a good looking pipe you got there. Pipe. Hey, there we go. Let's download this one. We'll use this one instead because it's silver. And that's cooler. I'm also getting annoyed by these red lights, so we're going to make those blue. Okay, we got Beal here. Let's toss this pipe in here. Envato's actually really nice. They use Turbo Squid. Is that what it is? Or Turbo Squid puts a bunch of stuff on here. Yeah, Pixel Squid 360. A lot of their stuff is from Pixel Squid. All of this stuff is from Pixel Squid. So I'm sure they get some cash money anytime anyone uses their stuff. So we've got this pipe. Let's make it just a little bit smaller. And then we'll flip this one around up top. And this gives it a little bit of dimension as well. Now this pipe we wouldn't see like that. This pipe we would see slightly different. So I can go back to this 3D render and we can fix that. So the pipe we would be seeing from the top would be like that. That there, except not as dramatic. Let me download that. Download. We'll see if this works. How's everybody's Tuesday been? There's this mildly, I'm gonna say mildly, humorous thing that happens on Tuesday on design Twitter where people just get in fights for no reason. It is mildly funny. Let's see if this looks like. That's a little bit better. But it's like way shinier. So maybe we'll just do it this way. What if I go like that? See how it looks like? That looks terrible. Now we'll just go like this. And we'll make it a little bit smaller. Right there. Dump this pipe down a little bit. Okay, cool. Hit save. So this is what we got going on. We're gonna make Bradley Beal a little bit smaller. I have a reason for this. I'm actually gonna get rid of those shadows we made. I don't want them in there. So we've got Bradley Beal here. He's got some tubes and some pipes he can go through. Henry, you want me to do that so it matches the lighting like that? Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, so Envato does cost money. It's a yearly subscription you can purchase, but you get unlimited downloads. So it comes in real handy for finding things other than photos of players. That's awesome to hear. Watching tutorials all day, watching NBA. Okay, so we've got this. So what I want to do now, I mean, this is like kind of cool, but there's nothing to it. I get my photos of player off Google. Yeah. If I'm using it for just a project that's for me, I'll just use Google because it doesn't really matter because I'm not making money off of it. I'm just using it for myself. So I'm going to throw a couple color lookups on this. Whoops. That I like to use. Nope, don't like that. That's a little bit better. Yeah, if I make the pipes blue, Henry, I feel like it won't contrast enough. I might go ahead, group these together, add an adjustment layer of a... I'll just add a white and black gradient map to that, and group it to that. And then maybe make them white. Whoops. There. They're slightly better now. Well, actually, since I applied that gradient map, let me just duplicate that. We'll see what they look like blue. They might look fine. And I might like it. Quick, what's the Wizard's blue color? We can look it up. Team color codes, Wizards. Wow, I typed it so bad. Team color codes. That's not what I wanted. Boom, blue. Ugh. You like to use true color? Let's see if we can make this look good. Whoops. The issue is that reflection needs to be white. That doesn't look too bad. Oh, it could be because I blew everything out. Hold on. I blew everything out.
Hooray!
Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Oh, yeah, here you go. Here's the sweet spot. Brightness is 36. This is location. Really should be 36. Nope. Nope. Go back. 50. Why are you the way you are? There. Yeah. Those look fine. Get rid of these color lookups real quick. Yeah, nope, don't like that one. One thing I like to do with some of my designs is we'll add a gradient map. And we'll just use the colors. I think it's 227, 24, 55. Is that what it is according to the internet? Yep. I like gradient maps. Another adjustment layer that's good
Curves.
is curves. So I like to add an adjustment layer of the whole colors, which just basically colors everything and makes everything flush the same color. Zach, I've messed around in Cinema 4D pretty much all weekend. And in Cinema 4D, you can't put in hex codes. You have to put in the RGB colors. So that's how I know what they are. Y'all sleeping on invert. I used invert, I think, like the other day, randomly. I also like
Displacement map.
Whoops. Let me save. Okay, so I like this. So let's go ahead and use one of my favorite things. Path blur. I don't have selective color. I didn't make a cool, dumb selective color one. All right, so he's jumping. So we're gonna draw a line going upwards, but his arms are going back because he's. I guess there would be some resistance here. So he would actually be going like that. Wow. Wow. That's not working at all. We're going to go to filter. We're going to gallery, and we're going to go to path blur. We're going to delete the main path blur. We're going to draw a line for him shooting, hit enter, and then draw a line going up in the air for him going enter. Great. Speed. Speed 15. I just really want to slightly blur it. I think I like 25. What if I don't center this blur? Then it's moving it. I don't want that. All right. Hit enter a couple times. Smart gallery, invert that. See, hey, there you go, Darian. Invert, just for you.
Hooray!
There we go. And then we can just brush that back in. Soft brush. Brush it in there. And then just brush up and down his body. make sure to get in there all nice and deep like.
That's what she said.
And then unblur some parts. So his feet are moving and his arms are moving pretty much, so I think that's pretty good. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to name a layer. Imagine that. Delete this. And then we're gonna duplicate him. Do we want to do that? What do we think of that?
That's fire, bro.
I agree. Actually, what I'm going to do. So I'm going to make these 15% smaller. Move them inward a little bit. And now we have more depth. Let's see what happens when we add some more. I feel like it might get too busy. Sorry, it's duplicating these layers. Okay, so we're going to set the scale to 85 again. Yeah, you just rotate him if he had a 3D element. Let's put these guys below him. Another Bradley Beal here. Move it up a little bit. I gotta move these the same though, so they're the same level. The issue with doing this though is it is covering up our dear friend in the back. Punch these down actually. Just make them smaller. I'm trying to like line up like where the tops of these would be and at the bottom as well. It's like these are weird. There. Now they're lined up. Alright, we'll hit save. I'm going to add something to this though. The problem though with like doing this is it's covering up this beautiful background we made. Let's leave that there. Let's hide them for now. And save. Let's see if we have anything that we can put over this. Thank you, Garrett. I agree. Yep, I agree.
That's fire, bro.
Okay, so I've got these stock images. So I've got some stuff. I don't want stock images though. I want Footage Crate. So there's a website called Footage Crate, which is a bunch of really cool stuff. So it's usually for like special effects. But like I've got all these frames that are just like anime lightning. Like boom, look, anime lightning, done. Check, print. So like that's cool. So now he's got anime lightning on him. Why? I don't know. Let's see what else we have in here. I wanted to see. I know what some of this stuff is. What do we got here? That's fire, bro. Laser sword? Is this just a lightsaber? Yeah, this is just a lightsaber. Convenient though if I need a lightsaber. Whoops, footage crate. Okay. I really like this one. This looping laser thing. Let's see if I can use this somehow. Let's put this here. Let's make it super wide and super short like that. So it looks kind of cool. What does it look like from the opposite? Not as cool. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to make it smaller. I'm going to make it even shorter. And oof, do not like that at all. That's what I want. I want this. So now we're just going to see if we can make it look like it's coming out of the pipe. Like that, pretty much. And we'll just paint around here. Of course, this is like super pixelated and it looks like crap. We can fix that. We'll just blur it a little bit because it's light and who knows what. Oh, see, that looks cool. How can we get that to work in our favor? Because that looks really cool. Let's do that. So, I could spend a lot of time on this. With the lighting based on what I just did. Come on, there we go. Like getting the lighting perfectly around that, soften it up. Back to this. Didn't make this perfect, so I can fix that. Just like this. Thank you. So we'll have that there. We'll duplicate that and flip it over. We'll put one up top. But if you don't link the layer mask, it's not going to work. Just drag this up here. Oh, this one's a little bit smaller. For no reason other than it's up in the air. Yeah, that's fine. Paint this back in, paint down here. Do the same thing with this one. Paint over here and over here. Okay, so this is what we have now. Light things, question mark. Problem is I need them in here. I also want them to be behind him. Well, we're going to separate that. These are back. These, we don't need this group anymore. All right, get rid of that group. The light things need to go in between the pipe and him. And then I'll duplicate them. And then we'll put them in front of him in his screen. Oh, oh man. That looks nice. That looks sweet. Wow. That looks super cool. All right. Let's take this and see, I hate that. Oh, I can always screen these later. It'll take 2 seconds. Whoops. Whoops, 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 whoops. So I'm going to shrink this a bit. I'm going to shrink it because it's a little too intrusive. The Gaussian blur is a little too much. Let's make it 25. That one's fine. It's this top one that's bugging me. Don't hit whatever I just hit. Hit 2. Thank you, Amber. And as you can see, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just playing around. But it's working, so that's cool. All right, so let's duplicate this, put them up here, set it to screen. See, now I don't like that. I need a little bit. I need some of it to come down. Like that. And I guess, yeah, some of it would bleed over the front. Yeah, like that. Sure. Using the back. Don't have it in the front anymore. Let me fix this Gaussian blur. Make this 25 as well. Okay, so now we'll duplicate these, put them in the front, set it to screen, but we want these to be more blurry. So let's make it 35 and 50 like before. But let's have it not affect anything that's underlined, or we do want it to do that. We don't want it to affect highlights. Like that. I couldn't tell you what this song's called. I see what you mean though with this bass line. That's kind of funny. Okay, cool. So we got light things top. A couple things that are bugging me. This is bleeding out a little bit too much. You see there, so we're going to get rid of that. It's good down there. It's fine there. I'm going to duplicate this. This is set to nothing. I'm going to set this to color. I'm going to convert it to a smart object and set it to color and apply it to here. So which is hypothetically going to just color that, which is what I want it to do. Set one to screen or set one to overlay? Set one to overlay. Set one to color dodge? No. Okay, so now when I throw this light on here, let me actually screen this. Normal. Screen. That screen's fine. Okay, so now we've got light shooting up all around. We hit save again. We don't have much time. Let me get rid of these. This does work out because I have lighting coming from the front that's going on. Where's this anime stuff? Oops. Put some anime stuff here in the front. Come on. I hate that sometimes. Okay, I'm going to duplicate that, screen it, filter, Gaussian blur. It's set to 50. Yeah, I really need to add the filter, make it pop right now. I'm going to group these together, take this same gradient map we used before. This is anime in all caps. Set this to normal at 100%. Yeah. Yeah. Normal at 100%. Oh, I know what it's doing. Hold on. Yep. We can do that. Okay, let me drag this way over. Hey, there we go. That's what I wanted. There, so now that kind of matches that. It's kind of whatever. I've got this stuff up here. Downloads. What am I clicking? Just click on what you want. I want lens dirts. Which one? Not that one. Probably 7. 7. 5. 6. 4. 4. Grab a lens dirt, put it in front. It's going to add some depth, which is going to make sense because we have some weird stuff going on. It's way too bright though, so let's set it to 56%. 56, okay. And we're going to do some very, very fast lighting. So I'm going to boost this up down here. I'm going to add some red. And add some more red. The opposite of red is cyan, so we want to get rid of blue and green. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, then we want to invert this and paint everything back in. So I'm going to paint areas that are going to be affected by this light shooting up into a scratch. So we got some light here. We got some light up top here. Light, 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 light. We got light going up his arm here like that. Top of his head, of course. That looks terrible, though. We don't like that. Just go in here and hit certain spots of his head. His hair looks kind of whack, but it's fine. Okay, I'm going to select him. Go to Select, Modify, Contract, 4 pixels. Make this same exact adjustment layer, essentially. Well, I can just duplicate it and just give it the same adjustment layer. Not open, invert, feather it, 3.5 inches, 6. Now he's glowing from all edges, which is fun, but we want to make it so it does not affect very, very dark colors. Let me just move this in like a little bit. I'm mainly focusing on his hair when I do that. Okay, that's cool. Let's do another adjustment, curves, drag this down, drag this here. Again, with this, we're going to add some red. We're going to take away a little bit of green and a little bit of blue, and it should be red. Pretty much red. Oops. So now we're going to go in and we're going to paint the areas that are being shaded. Under his nose, bottom of his lip, under here, right here. Here, right here, right here. Most of his jersey, definitely this hand, definitely underneath the ball, definitely in here, definitely, definitely, definitely. I'm going to take this and tweak it a little bit. Don't like how that looks. Okay, let's just darken up his jersey. I think that's good. There, now we got some lighting on him. Some Bradley Beal stuff. Let's put some final touches on this. Am I looking for lens overlays? Yes. Yes, I was. Does he look skinny? Maybe he's just that skinny. I'm gonna throw this. It's like Frank's Red Hot. I throw this shit on everything. Screen. Yeah, the hair's a little suspect. I don't disagree with that. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. I want this to be huge. And I want to blur it a bunch real quick. 30. Let's take that same gradient map, make it colored, make it 0. Nope, nope, that was not the way to go.
That's what she said.
Okay, let's fix his hair. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab some green, throw it in the back. Now I can see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna grab this brush I used. I'm gonna use this one instead. 100%? Yeah, 100%. Really what I'm just trying to do is I'm just trying to roughen his hair up. Because his hair should not be as smooth as it is. It's haircut time. Garrett, I do both. I like to put the color lookups on there because I can see what I'm doing more so. I also I haven't really played around with the actual color grading aspects that are in Camera Raw, but I just like using the color lookups. I might go in and then use Camera Raw. I mean, that looks better. And it'll have to do. I'll use Camera Raw to do like final tweaks. We'll do that right now. Because I'm gonna wrap things up here. We're hitting the 8:30 mark. But this is not bad for an hour and a half. This looks cool. His hair looks a little bit better. We've got this. Do I have anything like swirling though? Like if I had like a swirl or something like that, it looks really sweet. What I do have is I have this anime stuff I can duplicate and then turn into a smart object and blow up like that. Except like real big. Let's make it fatter. Like that. Filtered. Blur. Gaussian blur. 60. 100. Nope. That was worth a try. Okay, what was I gonna do? I was going to hit the selective color and see how bad it looks. It's too colorful. So I'll make a new layer, merge everything together. I'll right click it, hit convert to smart object. Then I'll normally go to filter, lens correction. And I do this because I like what Ethan J does, but he does it in After Effects, which is way cooler. Set this to I'm just hitting random buttons right now. That looks cool. Filter, camera raw filter. Recently I've been liking to hit this dehaze button. Let's up the clarity a little bit, maybe a little bit of texture. Contrast, no. Highlights up, shadows down. Let's give it a little bit more vibrance, maybe a little bit more saturation, lower saturation, more saturation, no. Just playing around now. Nope, don't want to do that, don't want to do that. So this is where I can go in and do like color grading, but I've never gone in here and actually like played around. But you know, you can do cool shit, I guess. All right, I think we're done. Let me up the exposure just a little bit to brighten it up, and boom. There we go. Now let me duplicate this and add a filter, blurring, radial blur, best zoom, 10, enter. Nope, 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 I need to add noise. It didn't add noise. 25. Swap noise and radial blur. That's better. Set this to overlay. Get rid of this. No. Take this. Round brush. Short. Like this. My boy Garrett is cracked at Fortnite. Yo. Let's make this a little fatter.
That's what she said.
And slowly get rid of it. There. So now we just have some stuff on the side. And I think that'll work. What do you guys think? Not bad for an hour and a half. You can still see Beal in the background. It's pretty decent. I'm going to save this out real quick. We're going to try one last thing. So I'm just going to save this out as a normal ping file, which you can't see, but it doesn't really matter. Save. Let's open Cinema 4D back up. Let's open this up. Drag this over here so you can see what I'm doing. So this is the file I had with all this cool text on it and stuff. We're going to get rid of all this cool stuff. We're going to get rid of this. What is this? Is there anything even on here? Very confused. Did I delete what I wanted? That's weird. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Okay, so to finish off, what we're going to do is we're going to make a plane. We're going to set the coordinates to 90. We're going to go like this. I like it enough that I've made it for an hour and a half. I would probably spend some more time on it. But I have said I'm only doing one thing. We got Bradley Beal. We got, what is this? Where are you at? Oh, there it is. Found it. Okay, delete. This is there. That's good. Good, good, good. We're going to make this guy way bigger. Right as this music comes on. Size. Let me just get rid of this and just zoom out. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to drag this forward. And that's actually probably all I need to do. One inch there. A little closer. See what this looks like. I don't know why I just did that. So this is going to blur everything that's behind that glass now. I might be able to pull this in, set it to screen, and do this differently. See, everything in front is nice. But everything back there is a little off. Now let's render. I'll add it to the render queue, save it, and we'll hit go. All right. I'll see how long this takes to render, and then I'll post the results when it's done, with and without the render. I think it's going to look better without the render. I might play around a little bit to see what it looks like and what it does, but thank you for tuning in once again. This was fun to show you some stuff in Cinema 4D. I'm not the best at Cinema 4D, but it is fun to learn some stuff and then share that with you guys. I hope it was easy for you guys to be quick in selecting to choose your time spent with me. This render looks like it's going to be done in like a minute and a half, so I guess we can see what it looks like. But if you guys aren't already, which I'm sure you guys are, make sure to subscribe. I do this every Tuesday. So I hope I can see you guys in the future next week. If you guys have suggestions on what you want to see, not just players, but if you want to see, like, you know, I might just do a question and answer. I might just do a showcase of showing you guys what you want to do. Let me know what kinds of things you want to see me do in Photoshop, and then we can figure out what player to do them on. Like today, I wanted to show you some Cinema 4D and then put it in Photoshop. So we did that. So this is now taking longer than usual. So with that, I'm going to peace out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys next week. See ya.